Yo, what up, what up, what up? It is your boy Roy, accompanied by the one, the only, the Dominican bad man, Sergio, formerly known as the Floor Press Guy. We have retired that name. If you didn't listen to us last week, he will no longer go by the Floor Press Guy. He is now Sergio. How you doing, my man?
That's crazy, trolling me. It's all good, bro. We had a good night. I think we were kind of calling. We made 8 bets out of 14, correct?
Yeah, we have. So real quick, this week we have Kamaru Usman making his way back into the octagon after 600 days of being out. His last bout out was against Khamzat Chimaev at middleweight at 185 pounds on short notice. This time he's taking on a surging contender in Joaquin Buckley. But before we go into that UFC Atlanta card, let's go over last week where we gave you 8 of our 14 bets, our picks, our parlays, our props. Good card, man. UFC 316. I really enjoyed the card. I thought from the bottom to the top, it was really entertaining. It was really good. Some standouts for me were, did Sean O'Malley sell us snake oil, man? You know, my man was giggling. He gave us a menacing laugh when he got the old gloves. He was talking about, I'm no longer smoking. I'm no longer jerking my meat. I'm no longer dyeing my hair. I'm no longer engaging in the character that is Sugar Sean. He changed his outro. He changed his intro music. He changed everything only to get beaten worse this time out. What did you think, man, of the card? What did you think of O'Malley's performance? What do you think of the co-main event? Give me your thoughts.
I think the co-main event was the main event in a way, right? After Kayla Harris won, immediately Amanda Nunes steps in. I just feel bad for Juliana because Juliana thinks she's gonna get a rematch with either girl. No, she's not gonna get a rematch with either girl.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I mean, Sugar, Merab was just that much better. It's just sad because he stopped everything. My boy stopped clubbing, partying, gooning for that.
Gooning. That's the new term the kids are saying, gooning, man. What does gooning mean? I hear it, but I don't know what it means. What does it mean? Oh, it means when you're playing around too much.
Yeah.
Listen, brother, we believe in retention over here, brother. We believe in retention over here. But yeah, Merab Dvalishvili submitted Sean O'Malley. I'm one of those very few people that stated that I wasn't excited for this rematch. I, stand firm in my belief that Sean O'Malley should have fought somebody else prior to getting the rematch. I understand that he has the star potential, right? He has the star. Well, he is a star, right? In the eyes of the UFC, he had the star potential. He had it all, and I think, where does he go from here, right? Who does he fight next? Does he, people are what's it called? People are campaigning to have him move up in weight. He has already stated that he'd get beat if he moves up in weight. So where does he go? Does he fight? Does he fight Corey Sandhagen? Does he fight Peter Yan? Does he fight Umar? I mean, what's going on? Like, where do you put him? Where does he fall? So it's gonna be interesting to see what they do with him and where he goes from here. Yeah, but yeah, Kayla Harrison. So one of the bets we put out was Kayla Harrison to defeat Juliana Pena via submission. A lot of people, were doubting Kayla Harrison. They said she's too big. She couldn't make 135. Her cardio isn't there. And she proved all the doubters wrong. She gained the women's championship. She looked good, man. And we're going to see what she does against Amanda Nunes, who comes back to the octagon, who looked bigger, man. I mean, yeah, I understand that she's not in fight weight right now, but she did look taller, a bit taller than Harrison. So it's going to be interesting. Yeah, Joshua Van, standout performance from Joshua Van. They need to keep him on pay-per-views, get, the main the casuals and the mass audience, to become a fan of him. I really like his fighting style. I think he has all the tools to become a champion one day. And it was announced earlier today that he's going to be filling in for Manal Kopp, who's fractured his foot at UFC 317 up against Brandon Royval. That's going to be an interesting fight, man. Do you think it's too big of a step up, or you think he's ready for that?
I would have preferred one more fight before fighting those
before guys. The top 5.
Maybe he's ready. The odds came out today, and
they have him as a favorite, I would imagine.
Royval is
Royval's been looking good in his new camp. I'll say that, since he left his old camp and he's gone to the new camp, he's been looking good, man. Against Tetsuya Taira, remember, he was the underdog. A lot of people were, on the side of Taira, and that was a close fight, but he looked good, man. He made the adjustments.
You know, it's crazy. I went to see if they got the odds for the fight of, and I just see a big Taporia minus 415. That's crazy. Like, let me see.
Yeah. And as always, guys, we'd like to remain transparent and accountable with how we do on our bets. So we gave you 14 bets, and 8 of our bets were able to hit. You know, some parlays, some props, some straight money line. We gave you Waldo Cortez Acosta at dog money. I think that was the biggest underdog that we had at money line. We also had chosen, or I had chosen Gustafsson, who was the underdog, who showed, via going full, in his words, don't cancel me, going full retard paid off for him. Weaponized cardio, like floor price guy likes, like Sergio likes to say. And then we had Kayla Harrison by sub at plus money. And then we had some parlays at plus money, but the image is there. And as our picks were 11 of 13 for myself and 8 of 13 for the floor price. Damn, I keep calling you floor price guy, man. It's Sergio for Sergio.
We know.
Nah, you retired it, bro. We can't call you that, bro. We retired. We got to move on, man. We got to move on. We retired it, but yeah, it's there on the screen. What did you think of the Waldo Cortez fight, man? Because a lot of people were shouting robbery. Oh, Spivak should have won the split. 30-27. 30-27 is crazy. Listen, sometimes these decisions go against us and sometimes they help us. In this case, it kind of was in our favor. But what did you think of the decision in the 30-27?
I mean,
honest opinion.
Just honestly outlanded more. The advantage, like that when I thought it was going to be an issue the first round, but then I'm like,
yeah,
like how conditioned is this heavyweight to throw that level of speed?
Yeah,
right. And then it's just like, bro, like you can't take him down. You took him down once, got back up. Yeah, like Waldo's going to be a problem when he fully kind of conditions his tank. Like when my man gets his tank ready and he steps into like the top 6 now. He's top 6.
Yeah,
or top 7,
yeah.
top 7.
I think they got to steadily give him favorable matchups. And I always said that Waldo Cortez is probably going to struggle when he goes up against a pressure grappler, like an elite grappler, right? So he did this time. He did well, but we'll see what he does against like somebody like
Heighton.
I'm just kidding. Well, we'll see. Moving on here, guys. There are going to be timestamps for the card breakdown. This is our recap for UFC 316. We are live for every card on X. Make sure you follow. Make sure you show some love. We do give you some live bets. I think the Madero's money line that you smashed was that at plus money or was that just lower? The odds were lower.
Minus 165.
Oh, minus 163. Okay. Yeah.
Remember, it was minus 120, minus 275 prior to.
Oh, okay. Smashed it. Okay. But yeah, so we have that. So we'll go into the UFC Atlanta card breakdown. So this is the bout order at the time of recording. It can change. Fights can change. We've seen it happen many times, but we'll go into the breakdown here. We have some women going after it. Some women straw weights. We have Vanessa Demopulous up against Jamie Lyn-Horth. Vanessa is 11-7-0 and is 2-5 in their last 5 bouts. Last losing to Talita Alencar via unanimous decision. Jamie Lyn-Horth is 7-2-0 and is 3-5 in their last 5 bouts. Last losing to Miranda Maverick via unanimous decision. When you look at this fight here, Vanessa is coming in on short notice.
You can put my screen.
What happened?
You can put my screen.
Oh, it's your screen back.
Yeah.
Vanessa is coming in on short notice. Jamie Lyn-Horth was already set to be on this card, so she's already had the full camp. Vanessa, we've broken her down in the past. She can strike. She doesn't have necessarily the power. She has poor takedown defense, as we saw in her last fight, right? She's unable to defend the takedown, but she can fight off her back. She can do well on the ground with the scrambles and fight off the guard and all that. Jamie Lyn-Horth has decent striking. She does well with her kickboxing. She has that background. You can see it in her technique. The issue here is she's had the full camp and she's going to be the bigger of the two. I don't think Vanessa's going to have the success in taking her down. I mean, she has the 5-inch height advantage and the 7-inch reach advantage. She's going to be bigger, man. I don't think Vanessa's going to have the ability to get inside the pocket, strike with her, push her up against the fence, get takedowns. I think Jamie Lyn-Horth's going to be too big. So I'm going to go with Horth here to win, man.
Yeah, we're going with Horth right away. I mean, look, Vanessa's coming up to flyweight, facing a bigger. So it looks like this is like I need money, or maybe I feel maybe it's time for a change because when you're two in a row losses, man, you got to do something significant. So
Yeah, I mean, yeah, coming in on short notice, and like I said, I just don't see her finding success in taking down Horth, right? So we're gonna go with Horth. We're both going with Horth, right? You're going with Horth
yeah,
as
but
well.
these odds like are they even out? Because
Not
man,
yet. I don't have them yet.
let me check right away because like this has the if you could catch us at a minus 150, minus 200, I would just slap money.
Let me check.
But you won't because it's still not out yet. Okay, it's out now. You see what I was saying? Minus 475.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. Like, if you're betting a minus, I have minus 430, but if you're betting a minus 475, minus 430 on Horth, throwing her into a parlay, what are we doing? I think the most interesting thing would be to look at the over under, right? Like, it's my favorite bet, right? The over or the under 1.5. See if it's not as juiced.
Let's go over Horth, baby.
Yeah, we're going with Horth. Next up, we have Phil Rowe, the Fresh Prince, taking on Angie Loosa. Now, this is an interesting fight that I think it can go either way. Rowe is 10-5-0 and is 3-5 in the last five, last losing to Jake Matthews via unanimous decision. Loosa is 10-4-0 and is 2-5 in their last five fights, last losing to Gabriel Bonfim via unanimous decision. Who you going with here, man?
Whoa, Phil Rowe, man.
You going for Rowe? Why?
I just like him better. I just don't like what Angie Loosa has been kind of putting out in his UFC. I mean, I just like him better. The reach. I'm fucking dead. I don't want to say the reach because they feel me.
Nah, because you're inconsistent with that shit. Don't say that. You're
No,
very
I know. But I just like him better as a striker. Like I'll be honest with you, Phil Rowe better as a striker. What do you think?
Rowe is he's a rangy striker. He likes to maintain the distance. He can pick you apart from the outside. His ground game's okay, but he does have poor striking defense. Like, this guy likes to get hit, bro. Loosa, the difference between these two fighters is that Loosa is more of a volume striker, right? He has some pop behind his shots. He utilizes his calf kicks well, and he's pretty good at also maintaining the range. So I think you look at this fight, you look at low volume versus volume. I think Loosa throughout the 3 rounds should have the output to beat him. I don't think Rowe can get Loosa out of there. I don't think he has the knockout ability. I think he could win via decision. I think Loosa's gonna be the more active, the more what's it called? Throw with more volume, have the more output. So I'm gonna go with Loosa. So we could be we're on the opposing ends. I don't have odds for this yet. I don't know who's the favorite or who's the.
So we have Kamaru, Rose, Cody. They should have added it a while ago. Okay, here it is. This favorite plus 112, plus 112. Sorry, 112. Loose is a minus 132. So
Yeah. Okay. So there's money coming in on Loosa. But yeah, I got Loosa. You got Rowe. We'll see what happens, man. I think it can go either way though.
it's close. It's a very, like I said, very what if matchup. Like you gotta expect. Like, is my man what do you call it? Are the boys? No, I was just changing the screen to yours. How well did the Kill Cliff prepare this guy? Right. That's my only thing that I'm thinking about right now. How well is he prepared? Right. So we'll see. It's gonna. I hope Rowe just utilizes his reach and comes in with a little better cardio this time.
You know what Angie Loosa just reminded me of? And this is gonna be random. Brian Battle. Did you see that Brian Battle versus Ruzi Boyev got announced?
Yeah. I mean, that's a good fight for
gonna be a tough fight. I like them both. So yeah, I don't know why, because I remember Angie Loosa quit against Brian Battle, right?
Didn't he
quit against Brian Battle. Remember the eye poke? And then after he wanted to continue fighting, and then they're like, "What are we doing, bro?" You had the opportunity to take your time, and then I remember that fight. So I think it was one of the first fights we broke down.
I often get confused with Loosa with the guy with the big neck. But he's at middleweight though. He fought. Oh my God! This guy.
Torres. You're thinking of Torres.
Yeah.
Next up, we have some bantamweight action. We have Charles Jourdain taking on Ricky Simone. Ricky Simone is 21-6-0 and is 2-5, last beating Javid Bashra via KO. Jourdain is 16-8-1 and is 3-5, last beating Victor Henry via submission. Jourdain's second fight at 135. His debut was against Victor Henry, where he was taken down a few times, but ultimately got the submission. You know, when you look at Jourdain, he's tough. He's a tough fighter. He's a pressure, versatile striker who likes to come forward. He has the dog mentality. He doesn't shy away from a fist fight. He throws versatile strikes, right? The spinning kicks, the spinning back fist, the jumping head kicks, all that. He's going up against Ricky Simone, who's a pressure grappler with knockout power, as we saw in his last fight. He's durable. He has good cardio. He has a gas tank. He likes to utilize his strikings to set up his takedowns and level change. This is an interesting fight, right? Because Jourdain has been looking good at 135. He is the bigger fighter here. Height advantage, right? I mean, they have the same reach, but he does have the 3-inch height advantage. But I think Ricky Simone is going to come in here. We know what his game plan is, right? He's going to come in here. He's going to pressure grapple. He has the gas tank. I don't think he's going to engage too much on the feet with Jourdain. I think Ricky Simone can get it done, man.
Well, I mean, you're discounting my man's jiu-jitsu. I don't know. This is a very interesting one because after Ricky Simone was on the cusp of losing this fight, bro, literally.
What fight? The Bautista?
Well, yeah, no. So after the 3 losses, everybody, bro, remember that he came in as.
Oh, bro, look who he's losing to, bro. Yadong Song.
No, our killers, and we talked about that, right? And I picked who did I pick? I forget who I picked. But I look at Javad, and Javad what the boys in next call fraud check. It's not a fraud check. It's just Ricky was very aggressive with that overhand right and landed. That's the thing about it. This is a very intriguing fight. You have to give it a Ricky, but I'm going with Charles. I think Charles has a second awakening. He's going to be way better at bantamweight, I feel.
Yeah. And then you say worry about his jiu-jitsu, but Ricky Simone has only been submitted one time, bro, and that was in 2016, prior to being in the UFC.
100%.
So I think he should be fine.
If he gets to the ground, he's going to try to set something up.
I think control-wise, he should be fine. I mean, Victor Henry was able to take him down.
Yeah, and that's what you got to kind of discount the fact that I think Ricky Simone is a better wrestler than Victor Henry. But yeah, I mean, look, I'm going with my man over here with Jourdain.
Canadians got to stick together, man. All right, we'll move on here. You're going with Jourdain. I'm going with Simone. We'll move on to our next bout. We have some flyweights in their second fight in the UFC. We have Jose Ochoa taking on Cody Durden. Durden is 17-7-1 and is 2-5 in their last 5. Last losing to Joshua Van via unanimous decision. Ochoa is 7-1-0 and is 4-5. Last losing to Loner Kavanagh in his UFC debut via unanimous decision. Durden, he's well-rounded. He's primarily a wrestler who applies the pressure and has good takedowns. He doesn't necessarily have the control, though. He did struggle against Joshua Van in securing those takedowns and getting those takedowns, right? And that's where we kind of learned initially that Joshua Van had really solid takedown defense, right? A lot of people were counting out Van in that fight, saying, oh, he's a good boxer. He has good combinations, but what's he going to do when Durden takes him down, right? What's he going to do? How's the defense going to look? And he proved those people wrong. You look at Ochoa here in his first fight, you could say he was nervous or whatever. He's a shoot-the-box guy. He can strike. He can fight well off his back. He has good takedown defense. He throws with volume and has a good gas tank. I think the jitters from his UFC debut up against Kavanagh, who is a striker, who has good wrestling, as we learned, up against Felipe Dos Santos, I think he's going to look good here. I think he's going to get his first UFC win. So I'm going to go with Ochoa. If he's able to deter and stuff the takedowns, get it going on the feet, I think he could pull it off. So I'm going to go with Jose Ochoa.
Yeah, I'm going to go the same. I don't think Durden has been fully locked in, I would call it. His cardio tank is a little bit of it's an issue for me, right? If Cody goes and has a first full round and puts it on this guy, great. But what happens in the second and third? He gasses out. So I think that's where Ochoa comes in and picks it up. And I want to see, because I have a feeling these odds ended up moving a bit.
I know. I think Durden is the underdog still, right? I think he's a bigger.
mine plus 150.
Yeah.
When it was it was originally announced. He was that.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
no, and you make a good point about his cardio, because I remember in the Joshua Van fight, he really got gassed trying to go for that first takedown. I remember he tried to get the double leg, he pushed him up against the fence, and he was unsuccessful. And he kind of stayed there for a minute, right? And I remember speaking with you at the time, and you're like, dude, that first takedown attempt really took the wind out of him, and he looked tired after that. All his takedowns after that looked sloppy. So, yeah.
Or are we discounting the fact that maybe he just fought very good opposition? Because Bruno Silva, top 10, or top 13. Joshua Van, top 14. Tagir is also ranked, right? Like, are we discounting this guy? And then you got Jimmy Flick. Shout out to Jimmy Flick, man.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. We'll move on here. We are both on the side of Ochoa. Next up, we have Malcolm Wellmaker in his second UFC fight, taking on Chris Moutinho, who's back in the UFC, if you remember. Wellmaker is 9-0 and is 5-5 last, beating Cameron Simon via KO.
Was this KO?
Yeah. He knocked him out, bro.
I don't think he knocked him. Did he?
Cameron Simon, yeah, bro. That was a couple cards ago, bro. That's the guy that's the construction worker. You already forgot?
No, but why did I have him at the decision? Sorry, I'm blanking out. I was thinking about. Oh, you know who I'm thinking about? Never mind. It's someone else. Never mind. Sorry.
Yeah, he knocked him out in the first round via KO. Moutinho is 14-6-0 and is 5-5 last, beating Johnny Campbell via KO. This is his second stint in the UFC. He went 0-2 initially. He left, went on the regional scene, got it going. Now he's back. Wellmaker, as we saw in his first fight and in the Contender Series, he has knockout power. He has pop behind his striking. He hasn't been tested in the UFC with the grappling, but on the regional scene, he's held his own on the mat. He's going up against Moutinho, who's a striker primarily. He comes forward. He can grapple if needed. As I mentioned, this is his second stint in the UFC. You know, if you look at his fight against, he's famously known for his fight against O'Malley, right? Who put the pace on him, who put the pressure on him, who kind of beat him. And I think he ultimately was KO'd by O'Malley, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it
was a stoppage, right? And I think when you look at Wellmaker in comparison to O'Malley, he has way more power, in my opinion. I think Wellmaker's going to get another knockout here, man. I think he's going to get another knockout early on. So I'm going to go with Wellmaker. I don't think he loses yet. Going to go 10-0.
I was confusing Wellmaker for Stutter something. The guy that came in last minute fought the England guy and put him to decision. I also was thinking it was Stuttermeyer or stuff. So I don't know.
But I don't even know what you're talking about, but yeah.
No, yeah, it's just the name. The name triggered me. Well, this is like I said, man, like he's coming back. Like I just feel that Wellmaker has fought the better competition to an extent. Like I did have Wellmaker, and it's crazy. Like he's coming back so quickly. So
he didn't take any damage, bro. He didn't take any damage. He literally knocked the guy out in the first.
I remember you had Simon. Eh? You had Simon. Eh?
Yeah, Simon. Because Simon, bro, he had the UFC experience. He's a good kickboxer. He only lost to Peyton Talbot. He took the time off. I was like, okay, maybe this guy has an opportunity to prove to us who he is, right? Like that he has the potential. And sure enough, Wellmaker's him, man. Knock them out.
But the fact that this is also, I mean, this is one of those that just like, yeah, Wellmaker should knock him on and should do everything, but he's also a minus 1,200. Like he's a
bro. Yeah, bro, because you have a guy who's been in the UFC who didn't have the success. He went out in the regional scene. Now he's back in the UFC. So maybe he's one of those guys that's good in the regionals, but when he comes to the UFC, you know, the level of competition might be too much. So I don't know. I think the odds are justified.
Yeah. No, I'm saying I don't remember him fighting Guido, but Guido finished him. Oh, that's for sure. So we'll see. We'll see what my man got in store for us.
Yep, we're both going with Wellmaker here. He's going to be the biggest favorite. Be careful though. Don't throw him in all these parlays, guys. Please. I mean, you should get it done though. You know, look at the prop, look at the knockout prop, look at the under 1.5, look at the finish inside of it.
You had that guy in a parlay in a 5-man fight. That doesn't.
This is what people. These are what the Degens are gonna do, bro. I could already see it. They're gonna add Jamie Lyn-Horth. They're gonna add him, and then they're gonna add one of these dogs, bro. They're gonna add like a Cody Garbrandt, bro. And then one of those is not gonna hit. It's gonna be deflating. But anyways, we'll move on here to some OGs, man. Some welterweights. Michael Chiesa taking on Court McGee. Chiesa's 18-7-0 and is 2-5 in their last 5 bouts, last beating Max Griffin via submission. McGee is 22-13-0 and is 2-5 in their last 5 bouts, last beating Tim Means via submission at UFC 307. I remember that fight. We called that fight. McGee was the underdog. I had McGee. I think you had Means, I believe. Did you have Means or McGee?
McGee.
But anyways, I had McGee and I had him in a parlay for like a plus. I think it was like plus 850 or plus 1,000. And when he got that finish, it hit. And I was like, woo, let's go, baby. We eating steak tonight. But anyways, Chiesa, this fight is going to be grappler versus grappler. Chiesa is a good grappler. Doesn't necessarily have the best striking, nor does he utilize his strikes real well to set up his takedowns. He likes to push you up against the cage, secure the takedowns, and kind of work from there, right? He has the jiu-jitsu. His takedown defense is at 61%. McGee, on the other hand, he trains at elevation. He has good cardio. He has good endurance. He has a good ground game and stand-up game. He's tough. He's durable. His striking and grappling are good. He's well-rounded, man. His striking looked good against Means, and ultimately he got the finish. McGee has a 69% takedown defense. I think this fight kind of withers on, who's able to get the grappling going on first, right? Like who gets the first successful takedown and who works from there. I think Court McGee, though, can get it done, man. I like him. I think he's more durable. He's stronger. Has good takedown defense. He's the more polished striker. So I'm going to go with Court McGee. But this fight can go either way, man. I mean, Michael Chiesa at a minus 330 favorite. That's crazy.
I don't know why, though. I really don't know. Because I also think this is Chiesa's last fight.
But it's also the age, right? I think people are looking at the age.
Yeah, minus 350. Yeah, but Court McGee is just like, I think
Court
Alex,
no scrub, bro. He's good, man. Court McGee's good. He's still got some fight in him.
I think Alex Morono beats Court McGee. If I go Matt Brown, that was a while ago. The thing is, this is the first time in a while, in years, that McGee has felt healthy. That's what he, and he looked good in his last fight. Like, he looked very good. I just don't like Chiesa striking. I don't like it. So I'm going to go with McGee too.
Yeah, McGee, he beat Brahimaj 3 years ago, and then he went on a 3-fight losing skid. But those fights were like a year, 2 years ago, right? Took some time off. And then you look at Chiesa, he has the win over Tony Ferguson, but that's like the ghost of Tony Ferguson, right? Like, it's not the Tony Ferguson that once was, right? The 11-fight winning streak. The Tony Ferguson that people thought was going to beat Khabib, that's not the Tony Ferguson he beat. And then he beat a Max Griffin that we all kind of were on the side of Chiesa there, right?
Yeah.
He lost to Kevin Holland. Like, he lost to some tough opposition, but that was 3 years ago. Sent to Luka, Kevin Holland, Sean Brady. Yeah, I think this fight can go either way, man. But I don't know. At dog money, I kind of like McGee here for the value.
Because, like I said,
I think it's a good matchup stylistically.
I think this is this guy's last fight. So
you think it's Chiesa? Yeah, because he's also doing commentating, right, for the UFC.
Well, he knows that the wheelhouse is my man's gonna have to call it, like, age and training and everything.
Yeah. All right. Well, next up we have a rebooked fight. This was initially the co-main event on UFC Fight Night. Which fight night was this the co-main event on? Was it the Gilbert Burns? I think it was the Gilbert Burns and Michael Morales fight night. Paul Craig taking on Rodolfo Bellato. Craig is 17-9-1 and is 1-5 in their last 5 bouts, last losing to Bo Nickel via unanimous decision. Bellato is 12-2-1 and is 4-5 in their last 5 bouts, last drawing with Jimmy Croup at UFC Australia. I think that was 305. Craig, we kind of know his strengths, right? He's elite in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He has good ground game. He doesn't necessarily have the best takedowns. He struggles with taking people down, and his striking isn't that high level, right? We saw him and Bo Nickel kind of engage in a back and forth. Bo Nickel consistently threw that overhand right, which kept catching Paul Craig right in the stomach and the face. So he's going up against Bellato here, who he can strike, he can get takedowns, but I think his path to victory here would to keep the fight standing, not show poor IQ, right? Like, if he shoots for a takedown, he gets locked in a ghillie, or he lets Paul Craig work from the ground, he's going to have trouble here. But if he keeps this fight standing, I think he has the power and the ability to put him out. So I'm going to go with Bellato here.
Fuck, I'm gonna go with Craig, man. Something has to give, or he either gets cut or he finishes this guy. I think he's gonna be coming. And again, this is a DJ in play. I also think I don't think Bellato's going down. Well, I think Craig's coming up.
What is this at light heavyweight? Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's been like dehydrated because that cut is big for Craig. Craig's a massive.
He's 6'3". Yeah. Oh, they're both 6'3". Yeah.
But like so he's been cutting. So now he'll get back, and like I like Craig in the first round. Then he looks like stuck in the mud. The thing was Bellato, like that Jimmy Crute fight, like Jimmy Crute should have got him out of there. But yeah, shout out to Bellato. Bellato didn't.
But also Bellato was on enemy territory, bro. Second fight in the UFC.
In Australia. And the boys were saying, "Oh, this is what were they saying? This is Pereira's partner, bro." I didn't know. No, it doesn't matter. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, look, I think this is a DGen play here. The odds need to be a little bit more, though. If I'm being honest,
he just has to be smart, man. If he cracks Craig, drops him, not fall him to the ground, right? Just be smart. Show smart fight IQ. I think he can get it done, man. Not super sloppy takedowns. Just be smart. Be smart. He could win this fight. But yeah, there's always that what if, right? Paul Craig, right? He's talked about like, hey, I'm on a 3-fight losing streak and I have to win this fight. I think he talked about it last time in their build-up. I have to win this fight or I'm going to get cut. So, what's the urgency going to look like for him? Like you said. So we're on opposing ends here. You're going to go with Craig. I'm going to go with Bellato. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Next up, what's up?
I was going to say Bellato. Bellato pulled out in his last fight too because of
he was Matt herpes, yeah, Matt herpes. But yeah, so we'll see. Alonzo Menifield taking on Umar Sy. Menifield is 16-5-1 and is 3-5 in the last 5 bouts. Last beating Julius Walker via split decision, which was interesting because Julius Walker came in on short notice, right? And he kind of gave Menifield a trouble. Sy is 11-0 and is 5-5 in their last 5 bouts. Last beating Da Woon Jung via unanimous decision. This is his 3rd UFC fight. He's undefeated. You look at Menifield. He has power behind his strikes. He has good takedown defense, as we saw up against Julius Walker, who was unable to take him down. Right, he had him up against the fence. He was a big dude too, right? He had him up against the fence. You could tell, like in the later rounds, that Menifield looked visibly tired. He was breathing heavy. His striking was a little sloppy. So he doesn't have the gas tank or the cardio. But he's going up against Sy, who is pretty well-rounded. He can strike. He can grapple. He's probably the more dangerous one on the feet. He has KO power. He has good pop behind the shots. And he has the ability to finish you with one punch or do it through increasing volume and output. And I think Sy here is going to be the younger, better fighter. I think he gets it done here. I think he remains undefeated. I mean, there is the possibility that Alonzo Menifield in those first 2 minutes, right, when he's fresh, can land that strike. But I think Umar Sy is going to be good here, man.
Yeah, I'm going with Sy. I mean, I think the 480 is justified. It's just like I said, like when you go into these fights and you have one, because the thing is with our boy that's like 6 something too. Like what?
Yeah,
Julius Walker, dude. The reach of that guy is like got good reach, but he was also tired. He was also
tired. And his game plan was to put him up against the fence and try to get him down, but he couldn't get him down. You couldn't get him down, right?
Could, but he's sitting right now at a -550. So
I think it's justified. It is justified. I
think
Umar Sy should get it done here.
I'm saying
so we're both.
Side, yeah.
You're going with Sy, so we're both on the side of Sy. Next up, we have Cody Brundage taking on Mansour Abdul-Malik. This is an interesting fight, man. Cody Brundage is 11-6-0 and is 3-5 in their last 5 bouts. Last beating Julian Marquez, the Cuban Missile, via KO. That was a crazy fight, man. Remember the mouth guard flew out. They were both going at it. Ultimately, he got the finish. Abdul-Malik is 8-0 and is 5-5. Last beating Nick Klein via KO. But in that fight, man, Nick Klein took that fight on short notice. Do you remember? He took that fight on short notice. He came in, and in that first round, I think he was able to stun or drop Abdul-Malik, and then from then on, Malik, came back and got the victory via KO. But he looked vulnerable in that first round, man. And Nick Klein was a big underdog, and a lot of people were picking him. You look at Brundage, he's heavy. He's a heavy-handed striker. He has high-level wrestling and can scrap if you're willing to bang with him. He doesn't shy away from a fist fight. We saw that up against Julian Marquez, right? They both were just going at it. It was crazy. He's going up against Abdul-Malik. He's a Division I wrestler. He comes forward. He utilizes his strikes well to level change and secure takedowns. He has some pop behind his strikes. Against Klein, as I mentioned, he was stunned early on and things looked shaky, but he pulled it through and got the KO. I think for this fight, it's the reason I say it's interesting because Brundage is extremely dangerous early on, right? So he needs to not let Brundage start off hot. If he's able to drag this fight out a bit, secure that early takedown, and tire Cody away, take away his power, I think Abdul-Malik can have the success here. I think he learned from his last fight to not underestimate his opponents. I think he underestimated Nick Klein, right? And he engaged in the striking and he got hit. He got stunned. But I think here he knows the power, the danger that Brundage brings. I think he's going to just stick to the wrestling, get him down, tiring him out, and get a victory here. I'm going to go with Abdul-Malik.
Yeah, it's hard to not go against Malik. Brundage is
Brundage is dangerous though, man. He can catch that chin. He can grapple too, so it's a dangerous fight. But I think Malik,
but the Cuban missile though was wild and out too, and I feel, the Cuban missile is a little bit older now in his UFC career.
Yeah.
So I think you're seeing we saw more of the Cuban missile's age than anything else to me.
Yeah,
and I think Abdul, he's not gonna go wild against this guy. I don't think he's gonna go super well.
I think he's gonna be smart, bro. I think he knows the danger, right? Like you're saying. I think he's not gonna do what the Marquez did, bro, and bang with him.
He should not. Yeah, like I said, he'll pick him apart, wrestle him, and then go from there.
It's crazy. We have 2 back-to-back undefeated fighters, man. Do you think these guys remain undefeated? We have 3 undefeated fighters that we've broken down so far.
Let me see what's the parlay say. Like if we mash them up together.
You mash up Wellmaker, Abdul-Malik, and Sai. What are the odds? It's not going to be good because Wellmaker's at minus 1,000, bro.
No, but we'll calculate those two. So if we grab and we say,
if you do Wellmaker KO, Umar Sai, and then Malik,
so minus 303 already, right? For
just the money line.
Yeah, no, to combined.
Okay.
Sai and Abdul-Malik, and then where's my boy at? Well, they don't even have my boy here, eh? They don't even have him.
They don't have him? Let me see if I could do it. Just to see. I don't think the odds are going to be good at all. Okay, so we have Abdul-Malik. We have Wellmaker minus 1,300. Holy crap. What the fuck are we doing?
No.
That is very disrespectful. Umar Sai. So if I did those 3 money line, I get a minus 220, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like
it's not worth it. For me, it's not worth
it. Yeah, no, it's not.
It's not worth it. But anyways, yeah. So we're both on the side of Mansour Abdul-Malik. Could be dangerous though, man. So it'll be an interesting fight. We'll see. See what happens. Yes, next up, we have Cody Garbrandt taking on Ioni Barcelos. Garbrandt is 14-6-0 and is 2-5 last, losing to Davidson Figueiredo via submission at UFC 300, where he was taken to the ground and subbed early on. What round was that? Was that in the first round or was that in the second round?
That was in the second round. That was the second round. Yeah, second round. Because he had the first. Yeah, he kind of that first round went kind of okay.
Yeah, right? I remember. Yeah, I was there. Garbrandt, man. I mean, fuck. We'll get into that. Barcelos is 19-5-0 and is 3-5 last, beating Peyton Talbot via unanimous decision. He stopped the momentum. He was a huge underdog. I think he was a plus 800, a plus 1,000. I think going into that fight, and he really exposed Peyton for not having a ground game. He got the wrestling going. He's an ex-Brazilian world champion, so he does have that wrestling background. He's going up against Garbrandt, who's a former champ. People say he has a suspect chin. We have seen him get touched and get cracked and get dropped. He has good boxing, great technique, good footwork. Him versus Dominic Cruz is probably one of my favorite performances, in my opinion, bro, of all time. Just his footwork and his showboating and how he was able to slip and duck all those punches, right? And he looked good, man. He looked good in that fight. And After that was just like a steadily, like his beef with TJ Dillashaw, right? And that fight with TJ Dillashaw, it's like this is a downward decline. But he pulled out of his last fight. I think his last fight was more favorable to him because he was going up against who was it? Mike Johns? Was it Mike Johns?
Yeah, Mike Johns, and
he
it
was
was
going
also
up against Mike Johns. What's up?
It was also a close fight too. Like the odds had it close.
Yeah, but I think it was a more favorable fight for him because it was striker versus striker, right? So up here, he's going against Barcelos, he's older. He's 38. As I mentioned, he's a Brazilian national wrestling champ. He has okay striking. You know, Garbrandt's the better striker of the two. I don't think Barcelos is on par with him with the striking, nor does he have the power to put Garbrandt away. He has good leg kicks. He can grapple if he senses your takedown defense is weak. He does well in controlling his opponents. This is going to be an interesting fight, man. You know, are you going to be on the side of Barcelos replicating that performance against Peyton Talbot and securing those takedowns, controlling Garbrandt, not engaging in the striking? Or do you see Cody Garbrandt pick and pop and moving, you know, utilizing that footwork, hitting him a few times, moving around, not letting him get going, getting him tired, right? I don't know. It's going to be an interesting fight, man. The odds are pretty even. They're kind of closing in. Earlier I looked at these odds and Garbrandt was a bigger dog. Now they're closing in. I don't know, man.
He's a what right now? He's sitting at plus 147 in my books.
Plus 147. Yeah, here he's we'll see. Who do you got, man? I'm a little torn on this one.
I'm gonna go with Garbrandt. I think Garbrandt takes this one. Like, this is a good fight for Garbrandt to win. I mean, like, yeah, I just like him better at this point. But
plus 125.
I don't know, man. Like, I just feel that the Davidson Figueroa fight, like Davidson is a top 5 fighter, right? You just fought Davidson, former champion, which is I don't want to disrespect Barcelos, but it's a different ballgame.
Yeah.
That being said, you know, if you look at Barcelos' last 2 losses, Nurmagomedov, okay, we know because Umar is top 5 too now.
Yeah.
And then you have Kyler Phillips, which is a top 13, top 15 fighter.
Kyler Phillips is going up against Vinicius, man. It's gonna be.
It's gonna be a dynamite. That's a dynamite fight. But I mean, the Payton fight, like Barcelos exposed him. Does it mean he replicated against Garbrandt? Garbrandt is has good wrestling accolades, but my boy's chin. But that's the only issue.
Criticism. Yeah.
The issue is the chin has not held up correctly. But you know, Barcelos didn't really like. Well, it's also Peyton Talbot, right? Like, he didn't really
bigger too. Yeah.
Yeah, he's bigger. I'm gonna go with Garbrandt. This is a degen play. I would say I would like for him to be more of a dog heading into fight night. I just hope also that Garbrandt is able to fight because he's been pulling out too many fights.
Yeah, he's been pulling out his last fight. I think I'm gonna go with Garbrandt too, man. At dog money, I think he's gonna be able to utilize his footwork. You know, pick him apart.
He got a knee tattoo. He also got a knee tattoo. My man is just like,
tattoos don't win you fights, bro. What are we doing, bro?
That's the thing about it. Like, let's see. We'll see, bro, because he's 33 years old, man. And let's be honest, young. Bro. Yeah, like I don't know, bro. That Dominic Cruz.
Damn, man. If you show somebody that Dominic Cruz fight, that's a good fight, man. That's a. Whew.
Bro, but what he was able to do in that fight,
his footwork, bro. You could sense somebody's confidence when they're fighting, bro. He had all the confidence in the world, man, in that fight.
Yeah, but the one thing, it's also years of, hey, this is the guy we need to beat. So everybody in that Alpha Male at that time was training to beat Cruz. So Uriah, it's like Uriah loses. Okay, well, now we know something new about him.
Yeah.
EJ loses. Now we know something new about him.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and then this guy just had it.
He had it all. Yeah.
Cody just, the one thing that these guys don't have is like Cody will fight for anything. Like, you know, like Cody has a temper. So I think also that, but we've seen, I don't think, okay, when I see the temper thing, I think he lost to Muñez because the temper came out because he wanted to bang. Similar to TJ. He wanted to bang because he was going to win that fight until he didn't. So, but that was a different sorry, I know I changed it. That was a different Cody. I think this Cody is a little bit more understanding, and he understands his place.
Yeah, we'll see. It's close. It's gonna be a good fight, man. I'm gonna also side with Cody. It's gonna be interesting. I think this is one of those fights where you look at the live bets, right? See how the first round goes, right? If Barcelos able to get that first takedown initially, like early on, you gotta start looking at the live odds, man, and start making some live bets. So make sure you follow us on X for those. We will be live for that. Next up, we have Edmund Shahbazyan taking on Andre Petroski. Shahbazyan is 14-5-0 and is 3-5, last beating Dylan Budka via KO. Petroski is 13-3-0 and is 3-5, last beating Rodolfo Vieira via unanimous decision. Shahbazyan has nice striking, kicks, knockout power. He has good technique, man. He can get takedown. He can get takedowns if he needs to. He does incorporate some wrestling in his bouts. He does, however, tend to gas and fade, right? Like, his cardio isn't the best. Petroski, when you look at him, he has some power behind his shots. He's primarily a wrestler with good Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He secures takedowns, controls his opponents, but he doesn't necessarily have the danger on the ground. Like, he doesn't chase submissions or have the ground and pound. This is an interesting fight for me, man, because I kind of look at this fight and I kind of see it like the Cody Brundage fight, right? Cody Brundage against Abdul-Malik. I kind of see it being similar in the sense that, early on, Shahbazyan, he can get the knockout because we have seen Andre Petroski get cracked before, right? Get dropped, get knocked out before. So I think, I don't know. If Petroski gets the grappling going early and tires out Shahbazyan, he's gonna be live to win a decision. I do like how he looked in his last fight against Vieira, man. Was he the underdog too in that fight? I think he was the underdog.
He was the underdog, yeah. Well, no, Vieira was the underdog.
Was Vieira was the underdog? Yeah. I just like how he looked in that last fight, man. And then, he ends up in that fight beating Vieira and then calling out Bo Nickel. So he's looking for favorable matchups, right? Like he wanted to call out a grappler. Now he's going up against a striker. I also like Shahbazyan though, man, but knocking out Dylan Budka, getting submitted by Gerald Mearshad, he's a bit inconsistent, man. And I know he has the tools to be good. I'm gonna go Petroski here, man.
That's crazy. I'm gonna go with Shahbazyan. And the reason
crazy.
why
That's crazier.
Yeah, it is, and like we're betting on the fact that he's gonna be.
I
off
just fuck you.
No, but it's true, right? Like you're literally betting on the odd that he's going to be off. But here's the thing about it: he's sitting right now at a minus 185.
Yeah.
So like minus 190. So it's you like the thing I'm betting. I think if you grab both fighters and you put them name value and you say, okay, well, who's the better fighter? I'm gonna go with what do you call it? Shahbazyan. The issue is like Petroski is tough and durable and has power, and Shahbazyan has shown inconsistencies. Now, is that in the past? Does he now? Do you feel me? So I think that's the issue. Like that's what you're betting on. You're betting on Shahbazyan to really like be on point. And like Gerald Mearshad is a great example. He was winning that fight until he couldn't get him out of there and then broke mentally.
Well, he messed up. He knocked him down and then he followed him to the ground, right? I think he followed him to the ground.
That was a big, well, I mean, it's not a big mistake, but it's just like, it's going to happen. So I'm betting on Shahbazyan is the better fighter, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, look, he struggled against Anthony Hernandez. He got KO'd. Who's a grappler. Gerald Mearshad, who's good on the ground. He beat AJ Dobson, striker. He beat Dylan Budka, who doesn't beat Dylan, but I think Dylan Budka got cut too by the UFC. Yeah, I'm gonna go Petroski. So we're on opposing ends here.
Yeah, we're betting on the fact that my man is just gonna he's gonna be inconsistent again. If he shows up, he has.
I'm gonna pick Petroski, but I think inside the distance, decisional action is a good bet for Shahbazyan, right? If he gets the knockout, you get paid. If it goes to decision, you get refunded, man.
That's a good bout. I put money on that.
Bet. Yeah, that's a good bet. I'm gonna see what the odds for that is. The props don't drop for me until like Thursday, so that's why we don't put our bets until Thursday, Friday, because that's when the props drop for me. It's annoying, but it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, on opposing ends here, But I like the value of Petroski. We'll see what happens. Next up, we have our co-main event. We have Rose Namajunas taking on Miranda Maverick. Now, Namajunas is 13-3, 13-7-0 and is 2-5 last, losing to Aaron Blanchfield via unanimous decision. Maverick is 15-5-0 and is 4-5 last, beating Jamie Lyn-Horth via unanimous decision. My boy's making his decision right now. Look, he's doing his research right now. No, Rose is the former strawweight champ. She has good footwork. She has sneaky power, good wrestling, and solid Brazilian jiu-jitsu. And her last fight against Aaron Blanchfield, I think you mentioned this when we did our recap, was her age was showing, I think you said. And you also mentioned how she looked like she was getting tired towards the end, right? Like she didn't pick up the pace. Maybe it was Blanchfield starting off late, like picking up the pace in the later rounds. But, she looked good in the first 2 rounds. And then in the third, fourth, and fifth is when Blanchfield started getting the takedowns and when she looked flat. So she's coming up against Maverick, who's a come forward pressure fighter who looks to secure takedowns. She doesn't have the best striking technique, but she does revert to it if she can't secure takedowns, right? Like if she figures out her down, like, okay, I can't take this girl down. I've done everything. I'm just going to engage in the striking and we'll see what happens here. She needs to get better at setting up her takedowns. And this fight, I'm going to go with Rose Namajunas, man. I think she's going to be able to have success on the feet, not allow Maverick to push her up against the fence, keep it moving, utilize that footwork, and out-technique Maverick. I think she's the better technical fighter. She's the better well-rounded fighter, so I'm going to go with Rose, man. And a 3-round fight, I think it favors her more.
It does, but the one thing that I don't agree with is like Miranda is an issue. Now, who has she faced? Like that's where it becomes a little bit of a toss up in the air, and you're betting on experience. You're betting on somebody that's been here. The issue is I don't like Rose at 5. I think she's talking about she's actually has more reach. Has a higher height than her, but I think when it comes to physicality, Maverick is going to impose her will on her. So I think if you ask me, like, who's the stronger fighter, Maverick is. And
she's durable. She's tough. I mean, she took Deone Barbosa to a unanimous decision, who's, submitting everybody. She was taken to decision, though, by Jamie Lyn-Horth. Big girl.
Juicy J is
Andrea Lee took her to a decision, bro. Andrea Lee. And then she submitted Priscilla Cachoeira, who's smaller. Little wrecking ball, but submitted her.
But Priscilla also came back and went up. Did she go up in weight and knocked out this girl? But so the only thing I'm trying to remember, was Miranda fighting at fly a straw? I think she was fighting at straw first. So give me 1 second here, champ. Macy Barber. No, I literally made that up right now. I was thinking that she fought. I thought she fought the redhead for one time. Made that up, apparently, in my head. I'm gonna go with Maverick. The reason why, I just don't like the inconsistencies of Rose. The fact that Rose has retired, not retired. Like, which Rose are we messing with? Does she want to become world champion, or does she want to just get a payday, or she just wants to fight? Because that's the other issue, champ. So now a 3 round favors Rose. Not having Trevor Whitman anymore is also kind of an issue for me. He was the rock.
I think you're thinking of Macy Barber. Macy Barber fought Jillian Robertson. We broke her down last week or 2 weeks ago.
That's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go with Maverick. How sure is it?
Yeah, what are the odds right now? Because is she still a plus 200, or have they closed in?
She's plus 210. Plus 210.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I think Rose, 32 years old. She's not. 32 years old is not a bad age, right? It's still a good age. And I think Miranda Maverick has suffered, or has struggled. I don't want to say suffered, has struggled with the upper echelon of the division, right? Like, you look at her record, she struggled against Macy Barber, top 5. She struggled up against Aaron Blanchfield. She struggled up against those 2 people. And I don't know, I think Rose is up there still, man. Rose, she lost to Aaron Blanchfield, but I think in that fight, I don't know, she couldn't get the footwork going in the later rounds, and I think in the championship rounds is what lost her. So, yeah, I think Rose can get it done, man.
Let's see, man. When you beat Weilin, bro, and you come back and you lose to Sparza, bro, like there's some mentally there that's not. I don't know, man. It's just more the mental
What
side.
year? What year was that?
2021.
Yeah, see, 2021.
That was 2021. 2022. But when she bought Weilin was 2021. But also, Weili wasn't fully developed yet. But Weili wasn't the Weili she is now. So
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, we'll
let's
see, man. We'll see. We'll see what Rose has in store, man. But I think 3 rounds she's gonna look good. She's gonna be more comfortable. She's gonna move around. The issue is, and like I said early on, if Maverick isn't able to get those takedowns and she's gonna try to strike, with Rose. How do you think that's gonna go, brother?
Well, she has to put pressure. She has to mix everything up. Let's be honest. Like she comes in, fucking around and doing all this stuff. It's gonna be a bad night. But like, as long as she's able to weaponize, the thing is, like, if she comes in and says, you know what, we're gonna tire that girl.
Yeah, look at who she. I mean, like you look at you bring up Rose's losses, right? She lost to Jillian Robertson, who's on a crazy streak right now, right? She's submitting everybody. Menifield, who just fought for the title, and then Erin Blanchfield, who's next in line, man. Yeah, I think Rose takes this. Move on to our main event. We have Kamaru Usman taking on Joaquin Buckley. Usman, where do you rank him in your top 5 or in your top welterweights? Where do you rank him in the top 5?
I think GSP. Then you have. I like Robbie Lawler as champion, bro.
Really? You like Robbie Lawler, Matt Hughes? You put him 4 or 3?
No, Matt Hughes has to be second. BJ. I'm not gonna put.
Damn, you have him all the way down there, huh?
No, but like actually, like.
Okay, I wasn't expecting. I thought you were gonna have him 3 or 2, bro. But damn, you have BJ Penn, Matt Hughes, Robbie Lawler.
No. So you got to give it a GSP.
Yeah.
Then you got to give it to my man over here, Matt Hughes. Had a very good dominant thing going on. You can't give it a Woodley only defended the belt less than Kamaru, so you can't give it a Kamaru. So you can't give it a Woodley, you got to give it a Kamaru. Then you have Johnny Hendricks, which you don't even consider him.
I don't even consider him, bro. Cheat, man. He's a cheater, bro.
He's it's crazy. So you put him at number 3. You're right. Put him at number 3.
I think number 3 and number 2 are depend on who you're asking, right? Some people have that interchangeable. But yeah, Usman, man. It's been back in the octagon after 600 days. Usman is 24-0 and is 2-5 last, losing to Khamzat Chimaev via majority decision. But you got to remember that fight was at middleweight, and he came in on a 9-day short notice. He's going up against the surging Joaquin Buckley, who is 21-6-0. He's 5-5 in his last 5 bouts, last beating Colby Covington via KO. I think the best decision in Buckley's career was to move down from middleweight. Even though he has the mass, he has the physique, he has the body, he was too undersized for that division. What I mean by undersized is he was shorter, right? He was shorter. Those guys come in heavy. They come in at 200 pounds, 205, right? Those guys are basically light heavyweights coming in and fighting at middleweight, right? Weight bullies, bro. Every division has their weight bullies, and I think Buckley suffered from that because he's a bit shorter, right? Usman, when you look at him, he's a pressure wrestler. He has power behind his strikes. We've seen it before when he KO'd Masvidal, Covington, Morales. He has, however, though, in his later years, talked about how his knees, they aren't the same as they once were, man. He's talked about how he struggled walking upstairs, bro. Like he has to walk upstairs backwards because, it hurts him, bro. Like, that's my only concern, bro, is his movement. How is he going to look up against somebody in Buckley who has looked phenomenal since dropping down to welterweight? He has good power. He has good movement. He can incorporate wrestling if needed. His cardio concerns have been answered. I think Buckley, what impresses me the most about Buckley, and I'm a huge fan of what he's done recently, is because he's answered all the questions that have been brought to him, right? When he faced off against Wonderboy Thompson, people said, oh, he's not going to be able to get Wonderboy Thompson down. Wonderboy Thompson has one of the best takedown defenses. He's not going to be able to get the wrestling. How's he going to do if he can't strike with him? Wonderboy Thompson's going to cut off those angles, those kicks. They're dangerous. And what did he do? Not only did he take him down in that fight, he KO'd him. He beat Wonderboy Thompson. And then the second fight, what's up?
I was gonna say, who was losing that fight?
Who?
I think Buckley.
At the end of the day, if you're losing or whatever, if you get the win, you get the win, bro.
Fine.
Anyway, my man's still salty because he put money on Thompson.
No,
it's all right, bro. Anyways, Colby Covington, when he fought Colby Covington, he's gonna maul him. How is he gonna look against a pressure grappler like Covington? What did he do in that fight? He stuffed the takedowns. Colby Covington went 1 of 8 in his takedown attempts up against Buckley, and Buckley put him out. Yeah, it was doctor stoppage, but Covington looked pretty beat up in that fight, man. So I'm going to have to go with Buckley here to get it done, man. I think he's younger. He's faster. He has the tools. Yeah, he's answered the questions regarding the cardio. His takedown defense is good. He has the power. And we have seen, Usman put out before. Does Buckley put him out? I don't know. But I think Buckley takes it here, man.
I had to go and look at the scorecards. Like...
My boy's still going.
No, because so for example, one judge gave it all the rounds to Thompson, the other one gave it all the rounds to Buckley, and then Derek clearly gave 1 round to Thompson, one. Bro, that if that would have went to a decision, that would have changed the trajectory there would have been a possibility of a loss. I'm just saying, but he got it done. Bro, this fight is interesting. I mean, look, how many days? What my man been doing? Has my man been
600, bro? Look at the right there. How many years is that? Is that a year? That's 2 years, right? That's 2023. But it was at middleweight, bro. And Hamzat, that wasn't Hamzat of today. That was Hamzat, the young Hamzat, the no cardio Hamzat, bro.
The no cardio Hamzat, bro. He's only fought one time after that, bro. You can't say that. My man's a Hamzat fight, eh? He's almost licking his lips like, Kamaru, please win. Kamaru, please.
Who? Who's licking their lips?
You. Sorry, Hamzat. Please win. Please, Hamzat. Let me tell you something, bro. I just bro. I don't know what it was, bro. Like we're entering into, and we talk about this with the welterweight division, where these fighters it's cycling. All the old guys, there. That's the bus is coming, brother. The bus is coming. Nick Diaz trying to come back, and Robbie Lawler got him out of there. Damn, bro. We gotta call the trash man, bro. Buckley's what he did to Kobe, bro, was crazy. Because I
remember everybody was saying Kobe's gonna maul him. Kobe's gonna get him. What's he gonna do when Kobe controls him and he doesn't have nothing to do when he's gasping for air? What is he gonna do?
But it's also Kobe from 2017. All right, this is a little bit more. I'm gonna go with Buckley.
Damn, this is the first, everybody. This is the first, everybody. The first time Floor Price is not going with the old guard. He's changing his ways.
I just don't see it. I know my guy has not been training because he's been enjoying life a little bit more. Probably had a couple of injuries. Well, you're gonna tell me my man's been training? No, my man. Listen, my man. I think Usman is at the point where he believes he's mastered everything. And it's just it's I don't think he was learning new things. I just think he was just resting and getting his peace of mind and getting the right fights. And he was trying to see how the division played off. Because then Leon Edwards, right? You can't fight Leon Edwards again because you're not really going to, what are you going to do with that? You can't. Edwards is champion, right? So when Bellato struck gold,
you can't fight somebody when you're down 0-2, It's not I think DC said it best. It's not a rivalry when you're down 0-2. When they asked him after that second John Jones fight, it's no longer a rivalry if you're down 0-2. So I don't think that Leon Edwards fight would have happened for a third time.
No, I'm not saying that, but I think he was stuck in a place where he was waiting for somebody to beat Edwards. And that's when Bellato came in.
Oh, and then go for the title. Okay.
Yeah, then Bellato starts, flirting with Kamaru and being like, oh, and then they start to build this stuff. And Kamaru is just he could have taken the fight against Bellato. Nobody would have.
I think if in my mind, if this fight doesn't go in Kamaru's favor, him and Bellato are right there, man.
Well, supposedly they had Ian Gary versus Bellato now signed for Madison.
I don't know if it's signed. I heard Bellato saying, they were going back and forth, I'll see you at Madison Square Garden, kind of indicating that he wants to fight him. But I haven't seen anything confirmed yet. At least myself. If it is confirmed, then correct me. But I haven't.
No, yes, it's not. It hasn't been announced. I just think it's locked in. it's hard to go for Kamaru, bro. Like even with all the experience, the championship belts and everything, it's very, like I said, like I think we're in a recycling period of this new generation. It's just, and Buckley looked good. If you were to tell me, okay, well, it's the third round, Covington versus Buckley, and Buckley's tired, but Buckley wasn't tired. Buckley was barely feeling it. Buckley was like brand spank, and that's what was shocking about it, because it was Cody that was the one that's supposed to be, Cody all of a sudden that's bleeding. He's still punching, but he's not accurate. So I feel in this fight, like, man, it's gonna be interesting to put Kamaru striking against Buckley.
You know what's also interesting? If Usman had been active, this breakdown would be a lot differently, right? Because we'd be able to see how he's been looking these past 2 years, right? If he's had some wins, and they both meet, but he's on a 3-fight losing streak. He hasn't fought in 2 years, up against somebody who's fought. This is his second fight this year. He fought in February. When was the Covington? Was that last year or was that this year? That was last year, right? The Covington.
Yeah, it was December. That was the last card of the year.
That was the last card of the. Oh, yeah, it was the last card of the year, right? So you're fighting a guy, and this is his second fight in a calendar year. So, yeah, man. But as you mentioned, you're interested to see the striking, how it's gonna fare.
I think Buckley has more power than Kamaru.
He's fast.
He's fast. The range is literally the same. What do we got? 2 inches of height advantage, and the thing is, yeah, man, like it's just
2-inch height advantage, same reach.
I like what Buckley did against Steve Thompson. Like I think that's the golden standard for fighters. That okay, what is going to happen when you fight somebody, bro? That in and out stuff. Like we talk about this all the time. If this girl, what's her name, fought at flyweight, Alexa Grasso would have
angles. You talk about angles.
Yeah, angles, but also incorporated something with the footwork of Wonder Boy or Taekwondo. It would have been a different fight. And then you look at Buckley, what he did, and he was good. And I just don't see that he has the same power. And then look, if we go past his, and this is where it sucks to be old, but last win was Colby. Okay, last win was Masvidal. We've seen what Masvidal has become. Then Gilbert Burns. We saw what Gilbert Burns is now, respectfully, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what are we doing? We go back to Woodley. Woodley hasn't fought since 2019. So all these fights right here, all OG, right? Everybody's an OG. I don't know. If you want to, here's how I play it. Leon Edward is a step of Kamaru, right? But it's also a generation. I think Buckley is 2 generations from Usman. I know that sounds like a little bit crazy, but
31,
yeah, it's just like it's a new come up.
And then one thing that's underrated that it's difficult to assess, but we can kind of assume is mindset, right? Like you have somebody who's been at the top, who's tasted success, who's held the title, who's had a long reign, right? Who went on a run up against somebody who wants that, who's advocated that, I need this for my grandma, I need this for my family. We posted that short of Buckley going crazy on live, right? Saying that he needs the money to help his grandma who's on healthcare, who's on what is it called? 24-hour medical aid or something like that. So motivation is different, right? Like this means more. I don't want to say this means more because it just means a lot to Usman too, but I feel like Joaquin Buckley is trying to get to where Usman has already been, right? So his mindset's a lot different in my opinion. I think, yeah, man, I think Buckley is gonna get it done here.
Yeah, like we said, it's just I'm trying to figure it out, champ. I'm trying to really dig in deep and be like, how does Kamaru win this? This is a wrestling. I don't think it's a wrestling anymore. Kamaru.
It just sucks that he's been out, bro. And why was he out for? Was it because of the knees? Was he out for that long?
He was also trying to see what the landscape of the division was going to be.
Yeah, but I think that did a disservice to him, bro. I think that did a disservice.
And then throughout that's when you ended up getting. Let's look at the rankings, because he was still the number 1 contender. But what ended up happening is Bellato came up, Sean Brady came up, Shavkat came up. So you see, Leon Edwards, right?
The world continues moving, bro. The world continues moving.
It kept moving, and now we're getting that.
So it wasn't because of the knees, right? He didn't have a surgery. Did he have? Let me see.
No, I just think it was just taking some time off. Guy was burnt out a little bit, fought a little bit too much. Well, I don't think it's fought too much. He just was placed in very, like, he was in big cards. Like, that Masvidal fight the first time, that made him a bunch of money. That was in the pandemic. That was one of the first pay-per-view fights that they did in Fight Island against Masvidal.
Oh, so it says here that Usman took a break from fighting due to address physical issues, including injuries, and required numerous injections to manage. This break allowed him to heal and become more healthy.
I don't know about being healthy, bro. Like, yeah, but then you're also what 30, 38 now. Fighting
this is per MMA Media. He was reportedly receiving 6 or 7 injections just to be able to compete.
Of cortisol. Yeah, bad knees. Yeah, he was just
so that coupled with being selective in who he wants to fight. Yeah, man, I don't know. I think it's gonna be, in the words of our brother Banter, it's gonna be long, bruv. It's gonna be long, bruv.
You know what the issue is, bro? Like, when you hear still like Kamaru, if he can't even run on concrete anymore. He has to run on like grass and just his knees. And
it's just I think the difference here, the differentiating factor between both fighters is going to be the movement. I think we're going to see a difference in movement between both these guys,
Yeah.
And it's going to be unfortunate, but Joaquin Buckley, I think with the win here, Joaquin Buckley is up there, man.
Let me ask you a question. Does Buckley test for steroids in the next coming years? Because that's
if he hasn't been popped already, bro, I don't think he gets
my
popped,
boy, like, strong, bro. It'd be cool to see Buckley.
Who do you think has a better physique, him or Usman?
Oh, Buckley's just mass. Usman's cut, but
Usman's pretty cut though, bro. Usman's pretty cut, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, if Usman pulls up in the Smurf outfit, bro, it might be raps for Buckley, bro. If he comes up in the Smurf outfit, the blue on blue, the light blue on blue.
That's crazy.
I'm just kidding. Let me see if I can
find it. He's massive. Like, he's just like more built. And also, like, this is Joaquin Buckley's weight division. We knew that when Kevin Holland fought him, it was like, good job, Kevin. You beat a guy that's still developing.
Listen, brother, if Usman pulls up, hold on. If Usman pulls up, bro, if he pulls up in the Smurf, bro, it's over. It's raps, bro.
It's over.
It's raps.
I pull up like that, bro.
I'm sorry. What were you saying?
That's crazy. When you got that body, bro. You're
talking about a weight class for bodies, right? It's like who is it? It's like Ruzi Boyev. When Ruzi Boyev fought at welterweight, what was he doing down there, right? What was he doing down there?
Who, Buckley?
No, Ruzi Boyev. When he fought Buckley at welterweight, like, what was he doing down there, bro?
He wanted even a bigger advantage, bro. That's the thing. Boys want even a bigger advantage.
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing down there, bro? Go back to middleweight where you're more suitable.
Yeah, you're more suitable middleweight. Buckley's just like has the physique, and like I said, bro, the guy has the mass. But I'm saying cut versus mass.
Yeah,
cut versus mass. Buckley is a mass fighter with higher. Damn, bro, it'd be crazy if they get these guys body fats for the fight.
Body fat,
seriously, because they're both like bodybuildish. They're both built so very differently, though. I would it'd be crazy, like, if Kevin Holland can make a run, and then you get Buckley versus Holland later on, but I don't think that's gonna happen anymore. But yeah, we're gonna go with Buckley.
All right, we're both going with Buckley here to get it done, and that wraps up our full UFC Fight Night Atlanta card breakdown. As always, make sure you show some love. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, follow us on X. We will be dropping our picks, our bets, our props, our money line. We make sure to give you those 3 things towards the end of the week. We don't ask for anything. We don't charge you for anything. There's dudes charging you out here $15 to $20 for their opinions, for their picks. And they don't always hit. These dudes are charging you money to place a bet on Sugar Sean O'Malley knocking out Merab Dvalishvili. I mean, what are we doing? What are we doing? Floor price. I mean, Serge, what are we doing?
So the boys are hating, bro. The boys are saying that that the reason why Sean lost was because he was training with Adesanya, bro. The boys are hating, bro.
That's kind of ridiculous, bro. Okay? Can we talk about that real quick? You're going up against a cardio machine, chain wrestler, bro, and you're over there striking, bro, practicing question mark kicks without a sign. We're like, what are we doing, bro?
Content. I think that was just content.
Yeah, it was content, bro. But listen, bro, they should have had him with Hamza, bro. stuffing takedowns, bro.
Well, what did Mighty Mouse recommend? I would love to see if Mighty Mouse.
I didn't watch the full interview. I saw clips of it.
Well, I mean, Mighty Mouse should have been like, "What do you recommend?" I was like, brother, you gotta start running.
Before we leave here, I wanted to get your opinion on this because me and you go back and forth off air about this topic. It recently came out that Jon Jones had reportedly asked the UFC for a significant amount of money to take on Tom Aspinall. The UFC matched his offer. Jon Jones verbally agreed to it. And now with the money presented, meeting his demands, he's now saying that he doesn't want to fight Tom Aspinall. He's refusing to fight him. And this has caused a lot of criticism online towards Jon Jones. How do you feel about that, man?
Okay, so
it was reported by Ariel Helwani. He went off earlier. I don't know if you saw that. Did you see that?
No, that's new.
So what, while you get your opinion, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I think this fight has already been made. This fight has a date. It's just the fact that when the UFC offers a fight to a guy like Jon Jones, bro, Jon Jones probably had booked out the Russian tough, a couple different things he's doing, bro. Jon Jones is milking it. Now that's not his fault that he's been away. He knew he told the UFC, I need 6 months to prepare. I probably have these events lined up. Y'all gonna have to wait. Are you guys okay with that? The UFC said yes, because it's the UFC's convenience for Tom to beat Jon, because then you pass the belt and the belt isn't retired, right?
Can you I hate to interrupt you. Can you look at the FPG?
Yeah. Let me see.
And can you play that so we can kind of look at it, and then you can kind of tell me what you.
Yeah. That's Ariel.
They got him the money, but there was a back and forth. They got him that money. They finally got him that money, and he said yes, and then he said no. And since he said no, they've been trying to figure out a way to get him to do this fight, one last fight. He ain't budging. That he is not interested. When I say not interested, I don't mean not interested in fighting. I mean not interested in fighting Tom Aspinall specifically. He thinks he's having like the greatest run on Twitter. He's making a mockery of his legacy. Show me a great champion. Show me a great.
Hold up, let me finish. Let me cook.
Brady, to Ali, to Lemieux, to Gretzky. Show me someone who acted like this in their final chapter. This is for
cooking him.
The guy who represented the company, a guy who represented the sport, did the jobs in the cage. He never embarrassed himself.
I'll say something, bro. Listen. Before they talk shit, y'all don't want to hear it, but GSP did not want to defend against Johnny Hendricks. Remember that?
Why didn't he?
Oh, because it was pop on steroids, but there was no proof.
Of course, bro. No, it's not that he refused. He said I would do it if he tested under USADA. Was it USADA? Didn't he want him to test under USADA?
Suppose we said yes to that. I don't know. Oh, okay, but let me.
No, because Johnny Hendricks said that it's easier to cheat. He said he slipped up. He said it's easier to cheat under VADA. I think it was. It's easier to fly under the radar.
History is history, but Jon ain't doing the right thing right now. Jon Jones is making a mockery of their belt. He's sitting there on Twitter saying, "I don't care if you strip me."
Ooh.
You think they like that?
Bro, but we gotta face the facts, bro. Like the thing is, the UFC did something a while ago.
Hold on. Did you catch the post-fight presser when they asked Dana White, "Hey, what do you think of Jon Jones on Twitter?" He's like, "I don't know. I haven't been on Twitter. I don't know what he's saying."
Because
and then they told them what he's saying, and then Dana White's like, "Wait, he's talking all that shit? That's crazy. Fuck."
The fight's already signed. It's already signed and delivered. Like it's just when it's Madison Square Garden.
So you're confident saying you think the fight is signed? You think there's a date and it's not? You think these rumors of him?
Here's what I'll say. Here's what I'll say.
Because even Dana White said that the fight is verbally agreed to. It hasn't been signed. So, but you think it's signed?
I think it's signed. I think, bro.
Okay.
Because then you strip him. If that fight is not locked in with a date, you strip Jon Jones.
You don't think it's coming? You don't think at the UFC 317 they're gonna announce, "Hey, Jon Jones has been stripped of the UFC heavyweight title. We're gonna have Tom Aspinall up against Cyril Gane at UFC Paris, in Europe, big clash of titans." No?
Nah, John. Listen, bro. It's just you harm the division even more. That's the issue. The thing is, like, if
how do you harm it? How do you harm it if you give him the title? If you give him a shot to fight for the title, how does that harm it? You no longer have an interim.
Yeah, but it's good if the belt passes ownership to from. So here's the thing about it. They don't, it's like they have that fight. That fight's already been made. It's just I think it's already signed and delivered. I think we're just going to get it later. Like, that's how the UFC works. UFC, when they met up and they spoke with John Jones and they said, how much money do you want? They were like, I want this match. But like we said, he wanted 6 months to train, which collided with tough Russian and all the shit. So that probably took him like 9 months to a year. And that's what he'll gladly make Tom wait. But the thing is, like, it's just they're building the fight up. Now, if it turns out they're not, bro, it's the UFC fuck up. Because listen, if you don't got to sign an agreement, you got to strip them. Like, yeah, bro,
there's not. I mean, if you have the CEO, the owner, saying that, hey, this fight has been verbally agreed to, it's not signed yet, but I believe I can get it done. I mean, it's not signed, brother. Unless somebody's lying. Unless somebody's lying.
Well, I mean, and if that's the fact, like, it's the UFC fault then. It's not. But the fact that John said,
how is it the UFC's fault if they gave him the money he wanted? How is that the UFC's fault?
Because
if he's refusing to sign it, how is that the UFC's fault?
Because if and a great example is Jack Della Maddalena is champion. So one of the things that came out was like, hey, Jack, you're fighting Islam Makhachev. You don't have a choice. Now, here's the thing about it.
But that's different, though, because John Jones gets the privilege, bro.
Well, but that's where they start to play ball.
Oh, so you're saying it's their fault for not stripping him?
Ding dong. And I think that's
okay.
If you're confident that you're going to make that fight, that's fine. Don't strip him. You're good. But there needs to be a date, or there needs to be, hey, quarter 1 of 2026, or which I think is quarter 4 of 2025. I think that's where we're going to get it. And I think it's going to be Madison Square Garden. What other fight do you put in Madison Square Garden? You're not going to put Pereira versus Ankalaev. You're not going to put Maddalena versus what do you call it? Islam. Topuria is happening now. You're not going to put Merab there. You need a big card. So I think, like I said, Madison Square Garden, that's the fight. That's the heavyweight fight that's going to happen. It's just, and everybody's just frustrated. Yeah,
my boy's confident it's going to happen. We'll see. They should have odds. They should have plus and minus on. They should have odds on whether this fight's going to happen in twin. Bro, I would smash that. If it's plus money that is not happening, I would smash that line, bro. But anyways, I want to get your opinion on that.
No, and everybody's like when you send me, like, bro, look at your champ. It's basically, yo, look at your champ, son. And I'm like, man.
So listen, we go back and forth because floor price. I mean, Sergio, it's going to take a while for me to stop calling you that. But Sergio, is adamant that John Jones is the GOAT. And and I gave him several examples off air. I won't mention them on here as to why, it's arguable. But, you have him over GSP, and it's understandably so, right?
Yeah. I mean, fuck. The thing is,
who are your top 5 GOATs? Who are your top 5 GOATs, bro?
John Jones. You got to
in no order. You could say whoever. It doesn't have to be in order. John Jones, 1.
I like GSP. GSP was very good. 2. Silva was dude, like,
of course you got a middleweight go, yeah.
Fucking that middleweight run was something insane.
Yeah.
Kane. I think Kane is my
cardio Kane.
Yeah, if Kane,
man, Brown Pride, baby.
If Kane didn't get injured, he would have been like fucking phenomenal. And then who else? That's kind of like Dominic Cruz.
When he was really? No Demetrius Johnson.
Dominic Cruz. I think what Dominic Cruz did. Well, but this is assuming like the injury stuff, right? Like,
no DJ, man. That's crazy. That's why I wanted to ask you, because I had a feeling you were gonna leave DJ out. Damn, that's crazy.
I mean, look, the thing is, like, I like DJ, but I also I like the run that happened with Dominic. Goes to the UFC, beats the number 1 contender Uriah Faber, then gets injured. Time passes by. Renan Barao becomes champion, mauls everybody. Lisha now is the new boogeyman, and then Dominic comes back and beats TJ. Fuck. And then what happens again? He loses the belt, but then TJ wins it back again. So it's like, bro, we're dealing with somebody that like is very like. That's the thing. The Mighty Mouse era was a strong era, but the thing is, it's like Amanda Nunes in the women's flyweight, in the women's bantamweight at the time. Amanda Nunes was just a little bit more superior than all these women. That's not her fault. But when Dominic Cruz fought all these guys were good.
Yeah, and I think for me, Dominic Cruz is like the biggest. I don't want to say what if because he's had success, but it's how much better would he have been if he didn't suffer all those injuries, man. You know, it took a lot of time out of him, a lot of time out of the octagon.
Maybe he would have been better if like that was an
mindset too, because he struggled. He's talked about how he struggled with mental health issues too. Being injured so much.
But you know what it was too? Like that was a great era of like back then fighters didn't go to other places and learn from other their coaches. So what would have happened if he would have like gone to somebody like Henry Hooft and be like, oh, we got to work on your striking. Let's make you more efficient, right? But it's what TJ Dillashaw did, and Dominic was able to beat that version of TJ.
But do you take that away from TJ now that he got popped with steroids?
He was still marking MFers. Like Cody, look what happened with Cody.
Yeah, but after the Cody, didn't he get popped after the Cody fight?
He got popped. No, he got popped for Cejudo for cutting weight.
Cejudo,
yeah, 125. I think that was the issue with.
I thought it was after the Garbrandt fight.
No. He was still champion. The issue was he had nobody else to fight, and they were forcing Dimitri Mighty Mouse and him. And Dimitri was like, "I just want $1 million. Can y'all give me $1 million?"
Yeah.
But then it goes back into the UFC where the negotiations are, Demetrius, if you want $1 million, we will give you $1 million off pay-per-view. But Demetrius wasn't. He wanted guaranteed money like John Jones. You see, that's where it becomes a little bit iffy, where you say Demetrius and you have John Jones. But the thing is that when John fights, John sells. Demetrius, bro, didn't really sell. And I think that is the issue. And that's why he's gone full like, fuck you.
Now, do you think, okay, before we leave, because I don't want to drag this out, do you think the fighters promoting themselves is more their responsibility than the UFC's, or the UFC has some play in that? Because the UFC also has a way of promoting the fighters and glazing the fighters, using the kids' term, glazing, right? And the thing with Dana White is he's gone back and forth with John Jones. He went from one point saying he will never headline a pay-per-view ever again to saying to glazing him, bro, because he wants that Tom Aspinall fight, right? He sees that fight happening.
And then what did John sold like 800,000 pay-per-views in an era where people aren't buying pay-per-views? That's a lot. That's that. They see, and then you ask somebody like Demetrius, and this is my issue, bro, because the UFC really tried to push Demetrius. Like he headlined a bunch of co-main event, a lot of like UFC fights, did a lot of fight nights, bro. You know a great example of this? Who it is? Benson Henderson. When Benson Henderson was coming out, he briefed Frankie Edgar. On the rematch, okay, Frankie could sell a pay-per-view, but not Benson. So let's give him the UFC pay-per-view. But after that, they sent Benson to Fox.
Yeah.
So he could grow. So what do you call it? Melendez, Diaz. What was the other cat? It wasn't Pettis. When it was Pettis, it was time to see what he could flourish. But I think Demetrius Mighty Mouse has had the same opportunity as anybody else. It's just the issues like. And he's likable now. If you look at him now, though, look how likable he is now, right?
Yeah. So they're showing more the person. Well, I think a lot of fighters now are showing their personality more. They're doing podcasts. They're like look at Volk, right? He's doing the cooking with Volk. Like they're showing their side, their human side, outside the octagon, and they're showing their personality more. Whereas in the past, we only got to learn about the fighters on the UFC embedded, right? On the build up to the fight at the press conferences. So I think a lot of them now are taking that route and trying to get their personalities out there. But even Demetrius Mighty Mouse Johnson has talked about how he regrets not showing himself more. Like he was strictly about the fighting, like crap, like, owning his craft. Like he wished I think he did the interview with KSI. And KSI talks about a lot of streamers and influencers, how they're unable to break out of, like when you stream a game, people associate you with that game, right? he's like, a lot of people were able to break out of that because they created personalities, right? So they're able to do other content and not just that game. And Demetrius Johnson responded with, I regret in my career not being more vocal on the mic and just sticking to the MMA, because my MMA game was, I'm I'm there, people consider me the GOAT, but I wasn't there on the mic, and I regret not taking that fully. Like, I should have done that, should have done what I did. I should have talked some shit. I should have talked some shit. Yeah. So I see what you mean.
What was I going to say about, Demetrius. No, I just feel now he's really stepped it up now. But I was going to say this, and we'll end it up with this. Bro, when I see like a Waldo Cortez, and what's very frustrating is that you got a guy that's in the top 10 and he's top 7 now, Spanish. Bro, like, you're waiting for the UFC to promote you. That's fine. You could wait. But have you tried to, start a podcast? Because when you have that reach, bro, you could do interviews with these other guys, try to get on these other Latino. Who a great example of this? Topuria. Like, bro, Topuria has his own fight promotion. Bro,
Topuria does press conferences every week, bro.
That's what I was gonna say. Like you feel me? Like, bro, let's try and get out there. Because all those great shit, but let's try and get put. You feel me? Let's try. And part of this, when he was talking all that shit, Patty's another bad man. Patty has his YouTube channel. Like, look how much he's likable. He has his YouTube channel, Eating with Patty.
Yeah,
I just think some fighters don't know how to go about that, and their managers, I think it's to blame. The managers need to be blamed on this, because, bro, you're managing his career. Why isn't my guy running a podcast, right? Or have somebody like Matty Betts with Gilbert Burns and Renato Mercado, like he runs it. These guys just show up, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, what are we doing here? Like, what are we? Mighty Mouse, the same thing. So what are we? Look at Kamaru Usman and Cejudo.
Sean O'Malley does the same thing with Tim Welch. Yeah.
So the question is, like, what is it that these guys can do and you can't? Because, bro, when you got that level of reach, top 15 fighter, top 5 fighter, talk a little bit, bro. Our fucking boy Jamal Hill. I don't fucking like Jamal Hill, but Jamal had his podcast, and when my man was champion, bro. Remember when my man was addressing all the haters in his channel, bro? I like that. So
yeah, I don't know, build a community, build a hub. Yeah, I get you.
I would like these fighters and these fighters to start building stuff, to start relying. Like Joshua Van hasn't even crossed 10K followers. Why is that?
But he's fighting somebody in the top 5, bro.
Yes,
and no one. So this is the thing. Perfect example. Joshua Van is fighting somebody in the top 5, and no one knows, aside from MMA fans, like us, like who watch the UFC, know how good he is, have been watching his fights. No one knows how good he actually is, right? So he's fighting this guy. He's fighting Brandon Royval, and little to no people know him, bro. No one, the masses don't know him.
Let me see Brian Volzal's X. 14.9 thousand, bro. You feel me, bro? Like,
Brandon Royval has 14,000 followers.
14.9 thousand, bro. This guy, how many main events has this cat?
Yeah,
done?
That's crazy.
Think about that, bro. Like, it's just, to me, it's actually insane, bro. Like, it's just,
and it's crazy because this is a global sport, right? We have people from Russia, from Brazil. We have fans from all around the world, and 14,000.
When my guy tweets, he got 23 likes. What, bro? You gotta. These guys need to be managed better, bro. These guys really need to, look what Mighty Mouse is doing, bro. Mighty Mouse is doing with the Guru, bro.
Yeah.
Why? Because there's that push there. Let's create content, and I think that's what it is. Like a lot of these guys are so fixated on their MMA fighting career that they're not pushing, like you said, their personality.
Yeah, you got to push your personality. I think that's the key thing. Like, even here, right? Like we talk about these fights, but we always stress, like, let's just just be yourself. Let the humor come out naturally. Let yourself be displayed out here. So, anyways, we'll end it there. We yapped enough. Any parting words, man?
No, bro. I'm just trying to get Corey Sandhagen's X now because I want to criticize the shit out of my boy. That's You imagine, bro, fighting somebody? You fighting John Jones, bro? John Jones, and I'm like, Tom, I'm gonna look at your subscribers. What's going on, brother? You got 20,000 followers, brother. You need to get to work, son. Yeah. Oh, John, but that's.
Oh man, yeah. All right. Well, anyways, guys, there we have it. There are timestamps. Make sure you look at the timestamps. And I don't expect anybody to stand here and watch us for an hour and a half. We try to keep these shorts, but this one went a little long. Make sure you like. Make sure you subscribe. Love what you love. Do what you do. We're out. Peace.